I got one more camera I gotta pull up here. Two more cameras actually. Oh, that's a good one right there. Shows down my driveway. Look here. And it's raining. Ooh, I like that shot. I can see if anybody's coming up my driveway. Got one more camera. One more camera, y'all. It's gonna be over to the side here. Gotta sharpen it. There you go. Shows my green screen and everything I got here. Shows my setup. So right now I got to go in the other room just for a quick second. So y'all stay right where you at, okay? Stay right where you at, and I will be right back. Woohoo! Alright, I'm back. I've got several cameras going on here. This is outside. As you can see, it's still raining there. It's down my driveway. Alright, and I got this kind of a fall background here. It's oh, I need to loop that. It's got these leaves a falling and everything. I didn't have it looped, so it stopped. So we got it going now. Let me take these out. You know, the reason I started, and may not even be nobody watching right now, I do not know. I like talking to myself anyway. Ooh. There we go. And the reason I started my show to start with, I like hearing the stories that bands is tells. You know, everybody. I've got stories, how they got started, you know, in music and everything. You know, I've got mine. Every musician's got their war stories, I'll say. A lot of musicians today, you know, I don't agree with. A lot of them agrees with them. A lot of them agrees with me. What I'm doing right now is backing this off. There we go. Okay. Get my lighting right here. Anyway, that's the reason I started my show to start with. It's called the war stories and everything. A lot of musicians got their own take on, especially these club bands and everything, got their own take on everything. And you know, some things we agree with, some things we don't agree with. Times have changed, I know. But a lot of musicians now are playing music, the thing they love to do, strictly for the money. It ain't about the music no more. To me, it's all about the music. Hey, I've got my drums set up in another room there, and I've got speakers around me, and I go in there and have a concert just about every day. And a lot of musicians now, they play strictly for the money. And, you know, they ain't all that money in there, much money in there. Of course you won't, you know, you're glad if you get enough for gas money or, you know, to buy you something to eat. But a lot of musicians now is playing strictly for the money. It ain't about the music no more. And to me, if you play music, that's wrong. I've got to do something here. This ain't right. Let's turn this off and this off. Is that better? I might have to fix it. And a lot of you ain't gonna agree with me, and that's fine if you don't. This side. Wow. Let's turn that off. All right. Now we got to fix this other. Oh. Tilt. Oh. Must be this one. That's one it was. now I'll bring this one back up. Let's redo this. There we go. Lots better. That's a lots better right there. But anytime, you know, to me, it gets on my nerves when I see these things on Facebook about clubs not paying enough money, and of course the clubs makes money, and you want to make yours too. But you ain't gonna get rich playing music. Forget it. Unless you make it big, you're not. If you're playing clubs, you're not gonna get rich. Play because you love it. I'm playing this coming Saturday, and I probably won't make $20, and I'm happy. I'm happy to be going and playing, because I love playing music. I love playing it. A club owner once, and he used to play music in clubs back in the old days. And back then, let me tell you, back then, you had house bands everywhere. I mean, they would change every once in a while, but mostly clubs only had house bands. You don't see house bands no more. Bar 31 has a house band Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. They're really good. They got enough music. They could play a different song Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. I mean, they got a big list of songs they could play. But they talking about clubs want you to bring your own crowd and everything. You're following. There's no following, because nobody knows where you at. Unless you're really good friends, I mean, with that band, you don't know where they're at. Right now, even in the line of business I'm in, say, for instance, Handshake Promise. If I wanted to go see them Friday or Saturday night, of course I know how to do it, but the average Joe, you know, if they ain't really good friends with Carl Damone or somebody in the band or somebody like that, they don't know where they at. So they missing out on going to see them. There's no big following anymore, because there's no house bands. I'm a firm believer in house bands. I'm sorry. You leave your equipment there. You can hone your music to the building. After a while, you got it going on. If I wanted, back in the day when I was clubbing a lot, if I wanted to see a certain band, I knew right where to go hear that band. Every band. Right now, I ain't got a clue. I ain't got a clue where these bands are. Except Razzmatazz. They're at Bar 31 because they're the house band. If I wanted to go see them now, I used to hop, you know. If I wanted to see several different bands in one night, I'd go one to the other. But I knew where they was at. You know what I'm saying? And that's the way I feel about it. But what really gets on my nerves nowadays is bands playing strictly for the money. And money's fine. I mean, you want to make as much as you can, but don't play just for the money. Play because you love music. Play because you love the music. You know, that's my take on it. And there's all kind of different. You know, I learned a long time ago, and somebody that just plays so-so, I ain't gonna mention no names, and I used to play with them. He told me one time, and I've always looked at him as kind of a knucklehead, you know what I mean? But he told me one time, and it made perfectly good sense. He said, the people that likes your music, that wants to see you, that's the ones that's going to come and see you. And I got to thinking about that, and I said, you know, that made perfectly good sense what he said. I know this for a fact. I've heard bands that I thought was stunk, that I was like, why are they even playing music? Do they know how to play music? But somebody else, they thought that was the best band in America. You know, that's what they wanted. The bands that I like, that I think are just awesome, somebody else may think they stink. So each their own, you know. But bands don't play because of the money. Of course you want to make money, but don't play music because of the money. Play music because you love it. Enjoy it. I do. I go in the next room right there by myself, plug some drumless tracks up that ain't got drums, and I have a concert just about every day by myself because I love playing those drums. And I ain't the best in the world. You can ask people I've played with, and that don't bother me. It don't bother me at all. You know, I hear good drummers every once in a while. I wouldn't know, what do you call that, somebody that it just comes natural to. I ain't one of those. When I first started playing drums, I had to work at it. I mean, I didn't know how to make rolls or do any of that. Matter of fact, the first time I ever played Wipeout, I played it and I couldn't come off with the roll onto the cymbal. I couldn't do that. And I had to figure all this out. And the reason was, you know, I do certain things left-handed. I shoot a rifle left-handed. All my change and money is in my left pocket. My billfold's in my left pocket. They just certain things I do left-handed. Well, come find out, I was playing Wipeout left-handed. But when I would come off with a roll, I would want to come off with my right hand, and I couldn't do it because I was playing left-handed. So I had to work that out and figure it out. Nothing playing drums come natural to me, and I can keep a beat now. I'm halfway decent, you know, but you know, I hear drummers out there all the time, and it don't bother me at all. Listen, I know what I am, I know what my limits are and everything. But I hear some of these good drummers, some of these natural born drummers, man, and sometimes it makes me so sick I want to quit. And then I think, no, I love playing. I love playing. As little as I think I am, I still like playing. And I'm playing this Saturday, so somebody keeps calling me, wanting me to play, so they think I'm pretty decent, I guess. So I'm playing in Homewood. They're on Oxmoor between 280 and 65 on Oxmoor, on that strip of Oxmoor. Some kind of exceptional building or something or other. We play from 8 to 11. 8 o'clock to 11 o'clock. So that's going to be good. And I've heard, I hear bands all the time now. When you play in clubs, listen, bands, please listen to me. You know, even though I'm a so-so drummer, I have studied crowds. You know what I mean? And you play in a club. What is these clubs? Are they dance clubs, or are they the kind of clubs that just stands in front of you? You got to know your crowd. What I'm trying to say. I used to be the one to make our song list out, and I'm kind of proud of that, you know, because I did a pretty good job at it. There we go. The lighting keeps going in and out. You know, you can see through my hat sometimes there. It may be this right here. Let me take this off. It's pretty warm in here now. But most bands, and you got to understand what I do now. I go out and tape bands, all kind of different bands, rock and roll, country, bluegrass, gospel. I tape all kind of bands, but club bands, they get me. They get me simply because most of these clubs are dance halls. You know, they got a dance floor and everything. So in other words, every song you do, somebody might want to dance. And if you don't play a song that you can dance to, you may not be asked to come back. Yep, still raining. You may not be asked to come back. If you want a following and that club to rebook you the same night, rebook you, play the right kind of music, man. They so much music out there. You can play dance music, and there's certain songs that people, if you was to play, let me think here a minute. Chris Stapleton redone that George Jones song, Tennessee Whiskey. You play that song, the dance floor is going to pack. You play Purple Rain, the dance floor is going to pack. Why is my hat? You know, they're just certain songs that people gets out of their seat and goes dance. And same way with fast songs. If you played play that funky music, white boy, whether you like it or not, you're not playing for you. If you're playing for the money and you're playing for the crowd, play what they want to hear, not what you want to hear. And that's the problem with bands nowadays. Too many bands are playing what they want to hear. And that's good if that's all you want to do and you don't care if they rebook you or not. That's fine with me. But if I go in somewhere and you play these old crazy songs that I don't want to hear, and I've got a date with me that I want to dance with, but I can't because you ain't playing the right music, I'm not going to come back and see you. I'm sorry, I'm not going to come back and see you. That's the way I am. And that's the way most people are. I've heard bands, you got to understand now, I tape a lot of bands, and I've heard a lot of bands, and I've seen crowd reactions. And because I wasn't too good of a drummer, and when I first started playing drums, that's the first thing I started doing was noticing crowd reactions and stuff. Let's do that again. I'm working on this right here. Thing of it is, my hat's invisible. That's what's getting to my... Let's try that for a while right there. Looks pretty good right there. Anyway, I ain't no professional. You know, there it goes again. Let's try this for a while. So far, so good. You know, and I ain't no expert at determining this, but because I wasn't that good of a drummer when I first started out, I thought it was my best interest to watch crowds, to see their reactions to certain songs, to see what what they do. And there's certain ways, and most bands knows this. Your best sets, if you play 4 sets, your best sets are 2 and 3. 2 and 3. 1, you're getting them started. Now we're talking about bar crowds now. First set, you want to play 1 or 2 really good ones, but you're just getting warmed up. 2 and 3, especially 2, that's your best music. That's your dance music. 4, your last one, people's tired, people starts to leave. If you want to throw in some new music that you've just learned, that's the time to do it. You just got to notice your crowd. You got to notice your crowd, see what they're wanting and everything. You got to notice that crowd. They're the ones that pays you, in other words. So don't play for yourself. Play for that crowd. You can play for yourself at practice. And I love to practice. Most bands nowadays, they won't practice. And I used to love to practice. When you get a song, when you work on a song, even though you get it the way your band can play it, if you get it tight as a band and then go out in the public, they notice this. The start and the end is the most important. And when you get everything just right, you hit every note, everybody hits everything just right, and you're playing in front of somebody, they're going to let you know that it's good. Yeah, heck yeah. And that's what practices does for you. Most bands now don't practice. They give me a song list, and some of the songs I hadn't done before, and that's good. That's the way people practices now. They give them a song list, they go in the other room, they practice it. And that's what I'm doing with this Saturday night gig. They several songs that I hadn't done before, even though they're easy songs. I want to go over them, to get all the stops and all the rolls and everything correct. So, correct for me. I'll put it that way. So, that's the way people practice now. I used to, Macabillys, they practice 2 times a week and go over stuff. And they're a really good band. They're going to be back at Lee's, matter of fact, in January, after all these football games are over with. So, Macabillys will be back at Lee's the third Saturday of the month. Yep. They'll be back there third Saturday of the month, so y'all need to go see them. The Macabilly Band. I played with a band one time. They just called me and wanted me to play a New Year's. And it was down in Calera at a Moose Lodge. I carried a date with me and everything. Calera from here is, a good hour 15-minute drive. Maybe even hour and 30, according to what the traffic is. And anyway, I went down there. I didn't know these guys. I went down there and played, and after the first set, I didn't know any of these songs. I played a lot of music, and I didn't know any of these songs these people was playing. And I don't think the people in the audience knew these songs either. They was coming up there. Do y'all know Sweet Home Alabama? Anything, they wanted anything. They didn't know them songs. And after the first set, I come that close of tearing my drums down and going home. And this was on New Year's. We was getting a lot of money on New Year's, like you normally do on New Year's. And I come really close because they was so bad, and I ain't no perfectionist or anything, but these guys, I wondered if they knew music. Why are y'all playing? This guy playing bass, matter of fact, he was going, that's all he was doing. It wasn't even a song. I could do that. And my date, bless her heart, said, "You're already here. You might as well stay and get your money. You know, you came so far." And I said, "You know, you're right." So I toughed it out and I got my money. But after that, that band called me about every week wanting me to play again. And I didn't answer the phone. You know, I play for the enjoyment, and I tell every band that I get in, I say, if I ain't having fun, if I'm not enjoying myself, I'm not going to play with you. I like to have fun playing music. I'm not trying to go on records or anything like that. And I have recorded, you know, gospel music and everything. I've even recorded some songs that we wrote and everything. That's pretty cool, recording in a recording studio and everything. But we wasn't trying to make it either. We just wanted to record those songs, and we did. What's going on here? Still raining. But anyway, that's the way it was. You know, the way I got started. A friend of mine, Roger Ragsdale, I seen him last week. He's still working. He ain't retired yet like me, but he's still working. I heard something. What was that? I don't know why I done that. I could have just done this. Hey. But anyway, the way I got started, me and Roger, I got my first set of drums with a credit card, or it was a J.C. Penney's credit card. It wasn't a Visa or MasterCard. It was a J.C. Penney's credit card. And I got my first set of drums from J.C. Penney's. It was a set of red sparkle. I don't even know if it had they had a name on them or something, anything. It was just a cheap set. It was a good set. Back then, you know, you're talking about in the 70s. They was $350. So nowadays that'd probably be $1,000 set. You know what I'm saying? So it was a good set. It was red sparkle drums. But the lady where all of us used to hang out, and she let us hang out there because she said she'd rather us drink and stay there than get out on the road and everything and get caught or kill somebody or anything like that. So me and Roger, we got in that back room there, and we would practice all the time. And I needed it because I wasn't no gifted drummer, you know. Gifted, that's what I was trying to think of a while ago. But we had probably 3 or 4 songs we done. Last Date, Johnny Be Good, you know, songs like that. It might even been, we done it the other night at Maccabilly practice, House of the Rising Sun. I don't know if that's I know Last Date was one and Johnny Be Good was one. But we had 3 or 4 songs we did. We just went over them. He would sing it, and then we'd run through it and just play it like an instrumental. That was pretty cool. And it was a lot of fun. And then this guy, you know, like I say, we all hung out there. So this guy, he wanted to get in on it. So Roger taught him 3 or 4 chords on the guitar. And he sang a little bit, you know. He sang stuff like Marshall Tucker, Can't You See, and stuff like that. Just 3 or 4 songs. So now we got anywhere from 7 to 9 songs, maybe even 10. So we're in there playing and practicing and everything. So and this was in it like this lady's bedroom. So Myrtle Mayberry was her name. That old Lonnie Mayberry's mama. God rest her soul. She let us do this. So we wanted to take a break, and we went in the living room. The place was packed with people, standing room only. And we was like, God, what's going on? And they said they just came, you know, to listen to us play back there. We didn't even know they was there. And then one of the guys said, you know, we having a party Saturday night at my house. Y'all come and play at it. And we tried to tell him we didn't know, but, you know, 9 or 10 songs. He said, that's okay. That's okay. Just come play. So we got our first, you know, really go at it playing these parties. And we got to playing parties. That's all we done, playing parties. And Squeaky was his name. The last guy that came in, he had a friend that played bass. That was my friend Nicky York's granddaddy, I think. Lynn Reeves. He played bass, and I think he sang a little bit, if I ain't mistaken. He was friends with Squeaky, and he came on board. So now we've got a band. 4 people. And we not only started playing parties and stuff like that, we had a band. We started playing a few little clubs, filling in for people that wanted a break and everything. So we started playing clubs and stuff. But Squeaky, he did a lot of this and a lot of this. So one night, Roger's cousin, Dennis Ragsdale, he came where we was playing. Matter of fact, it was at the old VFW, right behind Masco. The old VFW in Summerton. We was playing there, and we got Dennis up to do 4 or 5 songs, and he sounded really good. So because Squeaky was doing a lot of this and a lot of this, we let Squeaky go, and we hired Dennis. Dennis was a really good singer, played rhythm. We didn't have to teach him nothing. So then we were supposed to fill in for somebody at a club, and about an hour before, a couple hours before we were supposed to go on. Now this is my story. And it's a true one. Right before we were supposed to go on, Lynn called, you know, because Lynn was friends with Squeaky. Lynn didn't want to play. So we're in a panic. We ain't got a bass player, and we ain't got somebody to help sing and everything. So I knew old Mike Allen pretty good. You know, he comes to karaoke and sings too. I called Mike Allen, and Mike Allen said he was supposed to play that night, so he couldn't do it. He said, if you tried Stan Ballinger, you know, I'd heard of Stan Ballinger, but I didn't know him personally. And Mike told me where he lived. So I went down there by the tunnel and asked Stan if he'd play with us that night. Hadn't never practiced, didn't know Stanley that good. Matter of fact, Stanley done 2 or 3 songs that night. But Stan played that bass like he had been playing with us forever. I mean, that's how smooth Stan was. God rest Stan's soul. He's gone now too. My buddy Stan. So that's how we, and then we got up a name. We was called the Crossroads Band. And there's a story to that I ain't gonna tell y'all about, but we was called the Crossroads Band. And there was a band in Birmingham my good friend Kenny Welber used to play in called the Southern Crossroads. And people used to get our bands mixed up all the time. That was pretty cool. Oh, I've heard of y'all. No, you hadn't. But anyway, we was called the Crossroads, and it consisted of Dennis, Roger, Stan, and me. Let me show you a picture. I've got a picture. It just so happens I got a picture right here. If I can bring it up. That's pretty cool, those stuff. Yeah. See if this is it. No. Oh, I got it. You go to family. You go to me. You go to bands. Oh, I'm in the wrong thing. Hold on here. Gotta go to image. I was in the videos. Sorry about that, folks. Yeah, I was in the videos. Now I'll get you. Family, me, bands. Here we go. Alright, let me find that picture right quick. Matter of fact, I'm going to show you a lot of pictures out of this right here. But first, I'm going to show you the Crossroads band. Here we are. That's the Crossroads band. And right there, that's Dennis. That's Dennis. This is Roger Ragsdale's cousin. And of course, that's me with the long hair back here. Matter of fact, it snowed that night. This was at Maxine Tavern. A lot of you oldies knows where that's at. AKA Pink Lizard. It was cold that night. And matter of fact, it snowed a little bit. I've got a brown turtleneck on with one of them old thick shirts there. There's Roger. He had his eyes closed. He was a really good rhythm player. He had to play lead with us, and he was so-so playing lead. He was alright, but he was a better rhythm, but we had to have him at lead. And he sang. Dennis sang. I didn't sing. Stanley done 3 or 4 songs too. That's Stan. He went on to be with the Lord, old Stan did. That's my buddy. But that right there, that's the Crossroads band. That was, matter of fact, that picture was took at Maxine Tavern. I look like I'm looking at it, don't I? Me. I've got a dot right there. I can just go boom, boom, every time. Boom. Boom. So that's why I got these X's. Y'all can't see them, but they're X's right here on the thing. But that's me. There's an X right there. There's one right there, but I think it was to show me where the top of the thing was there. But this was where usually the TVs are. That one right there is Dennis's hand. What's he making? Some kind of a C major or something? I don't know. Alright. That was the Crossroads band. The band I'm playing with this coming up Saturday, I think I've got a picture of them here. Or some of them, part of them anyway. No, I ain't got a picture of them. This picture I'm fixing to show you, right after the Crossroads, I joined up. Me and Roger Ragsdale both did. We joined up. Now this is before Jasper went wet. And we played at the VFW in Jasper, where the big jet airplane is, right across the road from the hospital. And you know, Jasper wasn't wet then. So basically the only place you could drink was the VFW, and you had to bring your own. You know, they couldn't sell it because that wasn't a, you know, Jasper wasn't wet yet. So you just brought your own, but the place was packed every night. Let me bring this picture up. But we all dressed alike and everything. A lot of bands nowadays don't do that. Let me do this a different way here. Yeah, put it behind me here. Alright. Clell, he's gone. He used to be so funny, man. He was a talker and everything, and it was basically his band. And he would get up there, and I still say it now today sometimes. You know, if I'm playing in a band, he'd say, "Hold her, Duke, she smells alfalfa." That's funny. Of course, me right in the middle here, had that long hair. I kind of looked like that comedian from years ago. Buddy, he died not too long ago. He played steel guitar. Buddy Wade. Some of y'all might know him. And right up above him was a Gibson. He died not too long ago. And of course, there's Roger Ragsdale. Me and him, you know, he got me on there. And right there is Butterbean Flippo. But this was basically the only place you could go back then, was the VFW at Jasper. And this picture right here was took on the steps of the VFW, as you can tell. But old Butterbean, he's gone. And both of these right here are gone. Really, me and Roger's the only one that's still around. Wow. That's scary. I smoked then, so... And they had a dress code at the VFW back then. And I hated that because, of course, I'm a hat man. And they had a dress code. You had to have a collar. You couldn't come in a t-shirt or nothing. You had to have a collar. And you could not wear a hat. That's the reason none of us has got hats on. So they had a dress code there then. Which, you know, wasn't no bad thing. But that's my deal with I should have at the VFW there. That was right after, you know, and I went through three bands at Maxine, because Maxine was a rough place. And if any of y'all out there is listening know about Maxine and the Pink Lizard down at Alliance, Alabama, you know what I'm talking about. You know, it didn't matter if it was men or women. I've seen a women fight that was worse than the men's fight. I mean, So the band, they kind of got scared. I knew everybody down there. I was friends with everybody. When we'd go on break, I would walk around and talk to people and stuff. Noticing them crowd, they're the ones that pays you, you know. You remember what I said? Matter of fact, some of them people asked me one time, they said, why don't, because the rest of the band would go over there and just sit at a table by themselves. They wouldn't do that. And if y'all know me from karaoke, you know that I walk around at Lee's restaurant. Even today, I walk around. If somebody new comes in 5 minutes, I know where they're from. If they sing, I know all about them. That's why I done back in the old days, in the 70s. I would walk around and talk to people. And they had asked me, why don't the other band do that? I said, you do it. You come and talk to us and everything. Why don't I said, I couldn't answer that, buddy. I said, I'm just me, you know. I don't know why they won't do that. But anyway, they got scared of the place because it was so rough, and they quit. And they let me know about, the same night as we're supposed to play. We used to play Friday and Saturday night. That's the way bands used to play. Friday and Saturday night. So, I went and got another band. Well, Dennis stayed with me. And Dennis got this guy that used to play with Who Shot Lizzie. Y'all know that band, Who Shot Lizzie? Wes Glassy. We had a 3-piece band. Matter of fact, Wes was young then. He was 17, 18. He was young. And anyway, Wes played with us. Well, about a couple of hours before we were supposed to play one night, they called me and said they wasn't going back down there, Dennis or Wes. So I called Mike Allen again. And Mike was supposed to play somewhere that night, and he said, I'm going to call them and see if I can't get out of that because it's all the way in Alabaster, and I don't want to go to Alabaster. It's messing up again. I wonder if I could turn all these lights out if it would help. Let me fix it now. I'll just turn this one out. Well, that made it worse, didn't it? Well, let me turn them all on again. That's pretty good if it would stay that way. Probably won't stay that way. But anyway, me and Wes and Dennis, we played a while and we recorded. Wes wrote a couple of songs that was pretty good. Matter of fact, let me see if I can get one of them songs that Wes and us recorded. Audio. Okay. Alright. I got this off of one of them old cassette tapes and put it on here, so it ain't all that good. The quality ain't that good, but you can hear it anyway. So here we go.
Well, they say you got the money, and everybody seems to know his name. Now this old house is cold and lonely. I can't believe you're gone. Now you got what I want the world need to get you through. But it hurts me down inside to know that he got you to go down. This could be the last time I have a chance to love you. It may be wrong, it may be right. This could be the last time I have a chance to love you. Come on over, girl, and let me love you tonight.
So that was a song that we done. We recorded that in Tarrant City at a place called Magic Tracks, right there going into Tarrant City. And Wes Glassy wrote that song. We recorded, I think, 6 or 8 songs. We done 2 originals, and the rest of it was cover songs. It was pretty cool. But that song there is the one that Wes wrote. But they eventually ended up getting scared too and dropping out. So I called Mike Allen, and Mike Allen got out of his gig at Alabaster, and he got old Jimmy Pritchett. Jimmy Pritchett, me and him and Jimmy Pritchett went down and played a couple of months down there, and they didn't get scared. They just couldn't pay us because them 2 guys, they was professional, and they wanted a little bit more money than little old Maxine could pay out. So they eventually let us go because they couldn't pay us. We was wanting too much money. Back then, if you got $40, $50 a night, that was big time. That's about like $125, $150 now. So we was getting a pretty good bit of money back then. The Crossroads wasn't getting but $30, but we was getting free drinks. We was getting, so, you know, and I drank back then, so, you know, you'd still talking $40, $50. So we was getting paid a little bit. This green screen, it just gets me. I'm sorry. I ought to just go ahead and turn it off. I think that's what I'll do. And y'all can look at the green behind me. How's that sound to y'all? Here we go. A lot better. That other is getting on my nerves and everything, fading in and fading out. So we're just going to do it this way. I'm going to close that out. So y'all just look at this green screen behind me here. Hey, I look Christmassy, man. Red shirt, green screen. So we're going to do it this way. That other was getting on my nerves. I know a lot of you musicians out there, you got stories to tell, man. And one reason, back in '08, I've always wanted to get my own radio or TV or something and be on. And I done my own radio for a while. And just trying to learn it and stuff. Somebody was talking about a while ago I had an allergy because I done my nose all the time. Well, I got a mustache. And I've got hair up my nose and stuff, and it itches sometimes. It ain't got nothing to do with allergies. Duh. My neck has got little bumps on it and everything. I done checked it out and everything. I'm allergic to the dog in there. If any of y'all want that dog, it's a good dog. I would keep it if I wasn't allergic to it. But my eyes get red and stuff, and I'm allergic. I know I'm allergic to cats, so why not that dog? So I checked it out, and this is an allergy, and it's the dog. It is the dog. So I've got to get rid of it, and it's a good dog. I wish I could keep it. Real pretty, playful thing, and real smart. You can tell it's smart. So it ain't but 8 weeks old. It ain't house trained yet, but I can tell that it would be easy to house train. It would be very easy, matter of fact. And I know it's got some Jack Russell in it and some small hound. That's what it's got in it. It ain't a full blood nothing, but it likes to play all the time. And if you ain't playing with it, it'll sit and look at you and go, It wants to play because it's 8 weeks old. It'll probably, get out of that. I wish I could keep it, but I'm allergic to it, and I can't do it. Okay, back in 08, and a lot of y'all has heard this. I wanted a TV show about music. And when I first got it, I didn't have a name for it. I just wanted it, and I found out how to do it. You got to get sponsors to pay for it and everything, commercials and stuff. So I got up some commercials. One guy didn't even have a business. He just gave me $100 a month just to help me out. And I'd always say, if you see this guy, his name was J.C. May. I said, if y'all see this guy, pat him on the back and tell him you appreciate it. Because he didn't have a business. He was retired. But anyway, JC helped me out, and I had a couple of more. Athletic Way. Lee's Restaurant's been with me from the get-go. That's why I do a lot of Lee's stuff. Matter of fact, Lee's has got the Anchorman coming in there this month, the 15th. When is that? That's next Thursday. Not this Thursday, but next Thursday. And then the 30th, which is on a Friday, you got Ivan Parker coming in there. Ivan Parker. Daggum, you gospel people, you know who Ivan Parker is. Whew. Is it still raining out there? Let me cut this off. Now I can do this. And put that on there and go, woo, 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 whoop, whoop. I like that one. Anyway, I started telling everybody that I was fixing to have a TV show on. It was on the local station in Jasper. It used to be Channel 55. I don't know what it is now. They do a lot of the Walker games and stuff. But that's the channel it was on. Just a local channel. And somebody asked one time, they said, what's the name of your show? I hadn't even given it a name yet. And I told them, I said, I don't know, I ain't never give it a name. And they said, well, what's it about? And I said, well, it's all about music. And so that's what I named it. It's all about the music. And I didn't go out and tape no bands or anything like that. I had a few on VHS tapes that I already had, just a few. Most of it was bands that I've been in. So I did that for a while, and then people started giving me VHS tapes with their band, so I used them. And before it was all over, I actually got a cheap camera, which I've still got it over there. Boy, if I had the equipment, I could make a really good TV show. I just ain't really got the equipment. Look here, I do my TV show with this right here. A TV show. And last Halloween, I did my TV show with my cell phone. I did a TV show with my cell phone. And because now I know how to do it. You know, back in '08, I didn't know what I was doing. I'd get on TV and I repeated myself. I'd play a whole song of a band, and some of them club bands, they play 4 or 5 minute songs. You couldn't get 2 or 3 songs on a show. Now I can put 6 and 7 songs on, because I know how to do it a little bit better now. And I'm still learning. Like I say, if I had the equipment, collar mics, a better camera, which this was a $400 camera. I mean, it does really good, and it's about gone. So I need another camera there. And I've got one that I use in clubs. It kind of brightens up, because clubs is you. And I've got a light that I can put under it now, because a lot of times I interview people, and I have to interview them in the club, and it's still dark. And the light on the camera, it's got a little bitty light, and it ain't bright enough. So I bought me another one, and I've got all of it worked out, but it just ain't professional equipment. You know what I'm saying? So I need some equipment. I could put together a really good show. They done me wrong at the local station, so I took it off there, which they tried to sue me, because they said I breached their contract. You have to sign a contract. But what it was is they started knocking 2 minutes off of my airtime. You pay for a certain amount of airtime, and it don't sound like much until you start building the show. I did the show myself. They didn't do it. I would build the show, put it on a DVD, take it to them. Here's my show. That's the way I done it. So at the end of the show, they would start knocking 2 minutes off of my show. 2 minutes. And when you build the show, you know what 2 minutes can do. You can put a lot on a TV show in 2 minutes. And what really, and I talked to them about it, and they say okay, but they kept doing it. And what really made me mad is when they would do it, they would start airing their commercials on my airtime. I paid for their airtime. So they tried to sue me, said I breached their contract because I took it off the air. And I said, no, you breached the contract because you didn't give me my 28 minutes and 30 seconds. That's what you pay for, 28 minutes and 30 seconds. And I want that time. Actually, there'd be a band playing right before it went off. Then I would talk a little bit, and then I'd have credits. It would be in the song where it would cut off. The band would be playing like crazy, and all of a sudden it would just shut off, and they'd start airing their commercials. So, Channel 80 don't do that. They ain't never done that. They got a new guy, and when they first got him, he started doing a little bit of that, and I talked to him about it, and of course Don's a stand-up guy, and he talked to him, and it didn't happen no more. So when Don done it, you get 28 minutes and 30 seconds. Even now, 28 minutes, 30 seconds. If you buy 28 minutes, 30 seconds, you're going to get 28 minutes and 30 seconds. So Don, on Channel 80, Charter Cable Channel 80, and even if you ain't got Charter Cable, you can still get it. I get it on my cell phone all the time. Just go to AlabamaCableNetwork.com. you can watch Charter Cable Channel 80 by just going to AlabamaCableNetwork.com. So you don't have to have Charter. So that's the way I got started back in '08, man. I didn't know what I was doing. I had to learn, man. And I'm still learning. And I got to figuring, when I started getting older and everything, I started figuring, you know, people don't want to look at this. They want to look at some little young, pretty girl, you know. So I started recruiting little young girls, you know, to take my place and be the host of the show. And, you know, there ain't no money in it. They could make some money if they would get out and sell ads and stuff. They could make money of doing that. But most of them won't do that for some reason. And if they don't do it, they don't make no money. I ain't gonna do it. If I done it, the money would be coming to me. If I had to get out and spend my gas and do it, and I would even ride them around to do it. You know, because I'd want to be there. If the people had a question that they couldn't answer, I can answer it, because it's my show. There's not a question they can ask that I can't answer. And if I can't answer it, I'll make something up. I hope somebody's watching this, you know. So if you're watching this, on my web page right here, you know, you got tabs right up above me here. I wish you'd go to each one of these tabs and check each one of them out, you know. And I've made a few changes, like the donate button up above me here. The donate button, a lot of people won't donate because they're afraid of that button. They get up there and it wants your credit card number and all that, and they think, ooh, they're afraid to do that. But it's like any other purchase that you get online, you know. That button goes through PayPal, so it's secure. It's a secure account. So I decided I'd put PayPal right up above that button. So as you can see, it's on there right now, so where people will know it goes through PayPal, which is a secure account. I've got a cousin in California. They watch my show. I got two cousins out there. They watch my show. Of course, they ain't got Charter Cable Channel 80, but they can go to AlabamaCableNetwork.com and watch my show. Or you can just go to this website and watch it. If you'll notice, there's a tab there that says TV show. And this month's show is on there right now, which it had my very new host, Cullen. She did her first show, and it's on right now. She's coming the 26th, and we're going to make the Christmas, the December show. But anyway, I wish you'd go to each one of them tabs. Like that when it says Muscle Shows Radio, it's a internet radio show that plays only stuff that had something to do with the Muscle Shoals area. So you need to check that out. Muscle Shoals is the music capital of the world. They've got a sign up there that says that. Muscle Shoals, the music capital of the world. Not of Alabama, of the world. People from other places was coming there to record. Rolling Stones recorded there. They recorded 3 or 4 songs there. Brown Sugar, Old Time Rock and Roll, and they done some kind of bluesy Delta blues kind of song. I heard it the other night, and I said, I got to remember that name, but I can't never remember that old bluesy song that they done, which was done at Muscle Shoals. And there's several places out there in Muscle Shoals. Back then, they was recording studios popping up everywhere. But the main one was Fame Studio. Fame Studio. You had the Swampers, which was studio musicians. They didn't get that name Swampers till later on, but the Swampers was the studio musicians at Fame Studios, and they recorded. You hear their music all the time and don't even know it's them. Wilson Pickett, Mustang Sally, that's them playing the music. Aretha Franklin, that's them playing the music. A lot of music come out of there, man, that you don't know that was the Swampers. So later on, it was during the Aretha Franklin when she came in there. And you know, somebody else had Aretha Franklin. It might have been Capitol Records. I don't know for sure, but it might have been Capitol. They had Aretha, and they couldn't sell her. They could not sell Aretha Franklin. And Aretha had just got married, so she didn't know her husband too good. She just got married, and she came. Capitol Records let her go. So Atlantic Records, Jerry Wexler from New York, obtained her. So they brought her down to Muscle Shoals, to Fame Studios, to record. While they was recording, and if y'all have seen the documentary on Muscle Shoals, you know all this. While they was recording, one of the horn players that was recording kept making eyes and remarks to Aretha Franklin, calling her baby and stuff like that, and her husband didn't like it. He was jealous. And Aretha didn't know her husband that well. She had just got married. So they left. They went back to the motel. And if you know Rick Howell, I think, was a bit of a drinking man. You know, he told Jerry Wexler, he said, I'm going to go down there to the, I think he kept them in the Holiday Inn. And he said, I'm going to go down there and talk to them, you know, and smooth everything out and make everything right. And Jerry Wexler said, don't go over there now. You know, he was pretty mad. And he said, no, I'll talk to him. I'll get everything right. So he went down there. Ended up, they got in a fight and was trying to throw each other off of the 4th floor of the Holiday Inn. And Jerry Wexler got mad. And he told Rick Howell, he said, I'll never record here ever again. Ever. Next morning, Aretha Franklin went to the airport to leave, and her husband was already there fixing to leave. He was going to leave her there. Is that not weird? But anyway, she ended up divorcing him. But the Swampers left Fame because they wanted the business. They wanted to finish what they started with Aretha Franklin. So they've got their own place, which is Muscle Shoals Sound Studios, 3614 Jackson Highway. See, they obtained that building, fixed it up, and started finishing the album of Aretha Franklin, which has got Think, Respect. That's the two off the top of my head that they done. That's the Swampers playing on them songs. So they obtained Atlantic Records business. And that's what they want, is to finish what they started with Atlantic Records. So now you've got, so Fame Studio, because the Swampers left, Swampers ain't got that name yet. They didn't get that name till after they moved from 3614 to down on the river, back where the Cypress Moon is what it's called now. But Muscle Shoals Sound Studio moved to that down there because it was bigger. It had a fence around it. It was more secure, and they was right on the river. So I think it was Leon Russell gave them that name because they was right on the river and gave them that name, the Swampers. Swampers. So that's how they got the name, after they moved down on the river there. Fame Studio. They ain't got no studio musicians no more. So they hired more musicians. So now you got Muscle Shoals Sound Studio going on. You got Fame Studio going on. You got several others, small ones, popping up all over Muscle Shoals. But the big ones was Fame and Muscle Shoals Sound Studio. And a lot of music came out of there, man. If you ain't never been to Muscle Shoals, you need to go and check Fame out. They give tours, man. It'll give you goosebumps to be in them same places at Aretha and Wilson Pickett and all these places. Bob Seger was at the other place. Rolling Stones. I sat on the same couch, and the same couch is in Jackson Highway now. And even that sign that's up on the building now, let me see if I can pull that picture up. The sign that's on the building right now of Muscle Shoals Sound Studio. Here it is. Let me find that a picture of that building, then I'll explain it to you here. I'm looking for it right now. I've got a better one than that. Okay, here's a good one. Alright. You know, Cher recorded there. Matter of fact, I think she was the first one to record in this building right here. This is when the Swampers left Fame. This is the building that they got, and it used to be a Venetian blind building or something. Anyway, Cher's album that she done at Muscle Shoals, you can pull it up. She had everybody involved in her album out front of this building right here. And it didn't have that blue sign on it. The one that says 3614 Jackson Highway. That wasn't on there. And so Cher's graphic department on the album just went ahead and fixed that sign on the building where it be more noticeable, you know. So they made a sign just like it and actually put it on the building. And they done that from Cher's album. Cher had, this is on that album that she done at Muscle Shoals. And the album didn't do too good. I don't know why. I think she done a bunch of cover songs or something on it. Was the reason it didn't do good. But that sign wasn't on the picture. So Cher's graphic department just made up that sign and put it on there to make it more noticeable and everything. And if you want to, you can pull up that album. You know, you can pull up that album, and you can see what I'm talking about. It's got everybody involved in that album out front there with Cher and everything. Let me turn some of these off. I don't need them anymore. Anyway, that's the story on that, and that was, and by the way, the same piano, you know, Leonard Skinner first recorded there. They didn't know how to record or anything, and they got them up there, and they actually did. And you can pull this up on YouTube too. Just pull up Leonard Skinner Muscle Shoals, and it'll have that first album that they done there, which had Sweet Home Alabama on it. It had Free Bird on it, and it sounds real crystal clear, you know, that album did. But actually, they couldn't sell Leonard Skinner, and they ended up going to, of course, Macon, Georgia, and re-recording that album, and they took off from there. But the same piano that Billy Powell, you know, the piano player for Leonard Skinner, played on. It's a baby grand. It's in there. The one Bob Seger played is in there. And Bob Seger played many songs at this building. It might have not been this building. They might have already moved down to the river. They was here at this building for 8 years, somewhere around 8 years. They needed a bigger place, so they moved down on the river. Let me see if I've got a picture of it too. They moved down on the river, and I think the couple of reasons they moved down on the river. Let me close that one out. Couple of reasons they wanted to move down there on the rivers. One, I think they was getting a bunch of people wanting to come and see the Rolling Stones and people like that. And they, you know, was getting people hanging around the place. And one thing, they wanted a bigger place, because that place there wasn't but like 25 foot wide. I mean, it was small. Okay, I'm just about there. Yeah, that place was really, really small. And another reason is they wanted a more private place. Here we go. So they bought a place which used to be it used to be a Navy depot place on the river there, and it used to have a big fence around it with the razor blade wire and everything. It's a real secluded place. I went down. A lady named what is her name? I've got it wrote everywhere now. I can't find it. Holly. Her last name's Holly, but she's like a movie producer, and usually got several people, still got offices in this building and everything. Let me show it to you. So this right here, it's called Cypress Moon now, but 8 years they was at 3614 Jackson Highway. They was there 8 years, and they wanted a bigger place. So you can tell this is a way bigger place. So they moved Muscle Shoals Sound Studio to this building. And it was Muscle Shoals Sound Studio. That was the name of it. And they was here over 20 years in this building here. And this is when Jimmy Johnson and all got their name. Because right in front of this building right here is the Tennessee River. So they got the name, when they moved here, they got the name the Swampers, which I think Leon Russell's the one that gave them that name. So now, what is her name? I write her name down all the time, and then I lose it. Her last name is Holly. I keep Tanya. Found it. Her name is Tanya Holly. She owns the building now. She does tours too if you want to go in there. And a lot of people like Shenandoah, they got offices in this building. The bass player that used to be the Swamper, David Hood, has got an office. Matter of fact, they got a couple of studios where you can still record in this building. They've got a place, it's so big, they got a place where they can hold little concerts and everything. She did a lot of her movies, and a lot of the inside stuff was done inside this building right here. But Muscle Shoals Sound Studios was in this building over 23 years. So now it's Cypress Moon, and it's a movie. The woman that owns it's a movie producer. I bought a movie from her while I was there and took the tour and everything. I bought one from her and watched it, and it was a pretty good movie. It had a lot of stars in it. Lee Majors. The bad guy. You remember Kindergarten Cop with Arnold Schwarzenegger? The bad guy. He's in it. George Lindsay's in it. The Indian. You know, the religious Indian in Dances with Wolves. The main Indian. He's in it. The guy that played... I watched this movie last night. Remember the Revenge of the Nerds? The main guy in Lambda Lambda Lambda, when they got in that black fraternity, the main guy of that fraternity, he was in the movie. And several others was in that movie that I can't think of, man. Matter of fact, the whole movie is on Tanya's daughter. I think she's the main character in it. Pretty cool movie, man. She went all over. She went down to Selma with the bridge, and you just have to go down there, man. I love going to Muscle Shoals, man, and seeing all the history and everything. And by all means, go by the Alabama Music Hall of Fame. Alabama Music Hall of Fame. Don't forget to go by there. It's in Tuscumbia. And you got Helen Keller's place. You know, Helen Keller couldn't talk and she couldn't hear. Was she blind? She couldn't hear. I think she's blind too. Yeah. And I don't see how she got around, man. And I went and seen her house and everything, museum. And the first words that she learned was water, you know, from a well. And that well, that pump well, is still there. I think I took a picture of it, matter of fact. It was pretty cool. So you got to go to Muscle Shoals. A lot of history up there, man. Go in the Alabama Music Hall of Fame, and they got pictures of all the musicians and songwriters and everything from Alabama. Man, Happy Hal Burns. I used to play with him. Happy Hal Burns. That's Country Boy Eddie's cousin or something. Y'all know Country Boy Eddie. Matter of fact, even Country Boy Eddie's got his first set is in there. Happy Hal Burns, he's the car that's in there, and if y'all have ever been there, that car that's there with the horns and the silver dollars and the, you know, that was Happy Hal Burns' car. I think it's an Oldsmobile, matter of fact. Alabama's first tour bus is in there. You get to go in it and everything and walk through it, where they used to tour when they first got going and everything. My line of business, I get to meet a lot of people. Jimmy Johnson, the main guy in the Swampers, I interviewed him. Teddy Gentry of Alabama, the group Alabama, I went up and interviewed his daughter, Sally Gentry. Matter of fact, we went to Fort Payne at their museum and everything, and she tells us to come on back, and we'll go in the back in the, she called it the conference room. Had a big table and everything, but in these big glass cases had all of their CMT awards and stuff. I had my camera. Matter of fact, I think it was this camera. I had my camera and everything, and you know, I didn't take the first picture in there. All them CMT awards of Alabama was in that room, and I did not take the first picture. You know, sometimes I get so starstruck, I'm like, you know, that's the way I look sometimes when I'm in some of these places. When I first took the tour of Fame Studios, they was talking, and they asked the woman if she ever got, you know, the one that was giving the tour, if she ever got starstruck, you know, with some of those people that come in there recording, and, you know, them people sees them all the time. But for somebody like me, you know, you're walking in the same steps as royalty. You know, I've got, oh God, these pictures, man. Here is right here is me and one of my old hosts, Koo Carroll. Y'all remember Koo Carroll? And that is Sally Gentry. That is the bass player, Teddy Gentry's daughter. And that is in the opening of the museum there at Fort Payne. But that is Sally Gentry. Is just a good, cool girl, man. She's a lot of fun, man. She's a songwriter. She told us that she had over 700 songs that she would gladly give somebody if they would record them and, you know, put her name as the writer and everything. Got all kind of songs. Over 700, she said. Of good songs, man. All you got to do is put the music to them. But she said we could either have a T-shirt or a hat, and of course I'm a hat man. So I got a hat. It was about the color of this one. That had Alabama, you know, their Alabama logo across there. You can't hardly see it, but as you can see from the picture right here, oh, I'm showing y'all the hat here. Oh, here's what I'll do. There you go. So the hat was about the color of this hat, and it had Alabama across there. But anyway, I ain't got it on in this picture right here, but it was a cool interview with her and everything. We had a lot of fun, and her husband, John, he was from New York, still had that New York accent and everything, but a cool guy, man. Both of them was just outstanding, man, and we get to meet people like this right here. Me and Koo Carroll got on the Kentucky Headhunters bus. We got on the Kentucky Headhunters bus, and I was telling some little old young girl that was on the Kentucky Headhunters bus, and they said, "Who's that?" They didn't know who Kentucky Headhunters was. Well, okay, but you know, they're still out there touring a little bit too. Kentucky Headhunters. I mean, they're still recording and everything. Is it still raining? It might have stopped. But anyway, I appreciate y'all watching these live broadcasts and everything. If you ever want to see them again or anything, all you got to do is go to this page right here. Go to archive. Oh, y'all ain't looking at me, are you? Here we go. Go right above me at that tab that says archive. That carries you to my old website, which my old website was a YouTube page is what it was. Back when I had, it was called AMS-TV.com. Well, that's still up and running, but it's in the archive now. You just can't type AMS-TV.com in no more. But listen, all you got to do is go to the archive right there, and it takes you to that same site. Go all the way to the bottom of the page, and it'll have all these live broadcasts that I pull up all the way to the bottom. If you want to see any of my past TV shows from 2013 till now, that's 5 years ago. Right at the beginning of the page, it'll have a infomercial. Then it'll have two things down there. It says AMS TV, and it'll say taped videos. And taped videos is just things that I put on there I think y'all might be interested in. But the AMS TV, you click on that, and it brings up all of my past TV shows in the archive. I wish you'd go to all these. Got pictures on there you might see in the gallery. Got some links that you might want to see. And if you want to donate to the show, anything donated on this donate button goes strictly for this TV show. Not me. It goes for the making of this TV show. And it is strictly secure. Don't be afraid of it. What I was going to tell you before, you know, my cousin's in California. She was going to donate. Said she couldn't get it to work. I know she was fibbing because it works. Because after she told me that, I went to it and donated $1 from my account, and it went straight through, no problems. She was just afraid of it. So she sent it in a letter. She sent a check, she donated, and that's okay too. If you're afraid of that right there, just, you know, if you want to donate, just go to the bottom of the page and get my address and send it in a letter. I don't care. But what I'm telling you is everything coming through like that goes strictly for the making of this show. Because we need a lot of notebooks, ink for the printer. Because a lot of times I print out flyers and stuff. And it take, you know, that stuff's like $45, $50 now for ink. Man. So that's what it goes for. So, you know, just don't be afraid of that button up there, because it, you know, it goes through PayPal, and PayPal is strictly secure. But if you're afraid of it, go to the bottom of the page and get my address if you want to donate. $1, $2, $10, $20. If you're a high roller, $100. Believe it or not, some people has donated $100. I ain't gonna mention no names. We don't want to put them on the spot or anything, but that was pretty cool of them, and it was used. I guarantee you, it was used. Most of it goes for ink and stuff, cause that ink, you know, once we print out stuff and everything, it takes a lot of ink, man. A lot of ink, a lot of paper, stuff that's needed for the show. You know what I mean? So if you want to donate, don't be afraid to donate. But I got to get out of here. I'm getting a little hungry, man. I had to come in here and do all this because President Trump was arguing with the media in there, and I got tired of watching it. So I think the rain has quit now. You got so you can see my setup right here. This right here, that's my external microphone. I use that because once you change, just like this camera right here, it's got its own audio. And if I don't stop the audio changes. I could turn it on right now and you'll see how it changes. Let me do that. So if I'm talking right here, you see how it changed and everything? The audio changes, and I don't want the audio to change like that, so I keep it off. Where when I change to different things, you still hear the same audio. and I can change back and forth, and you're still hearing the same audio. So that's why I use this external microphone right here, where the audio won't change on me and everything. You see, I've got a mirror right here in case you know, one of my hosts wants to fix their hair and everything. They can look in the mirror. I've got a calendar right here behind me, where I can look on the calendar. I've got a cheat sheet right here, and I've got several up here. You can see all of them, I think. Got one up there. It's got stuff I already wrote on it. Got one on down here. So if the host can't remember what to say, we got all kind of cheat dry erase boards that we can put down here. So you see my setup right here. Pretty cool, right? It's just a homemade studio that I made, you know, just for me. I've got this computer right here, but I've also got one over on the other side over there. It's where I do a lot of research. My Photoshop is on that one. Because I do a lot of Photoshopping. A lot of the background scenes that you see behind me and everything, a lot of times, like studios and stuff, I make those on Photoshop. So that's what I do. That's what I do, y'all. I've got several cameras that I can pull up. I can even put that big one on over there. Put it on and it zooms in and out. But I don't need it. About the only time I use it's in clubs and stuff to tape bands, because it's got really good audio. If the place is really, really dark, it will lighten them up a little bit, because of the sensor and everything on there. I could even use my big camera, my Nikon camera. I could use it for this right here, but I don't do it, because this one right here tapes in HD, and that's all I need right there. But anyway, I'm gonna go in here and find me something to eat, man. If y'all looking for a little puppy or anything, I've got one that I'm allergic to. And Mary, I'm not allergic to anything in this house. The reason I do my nose that way, because it itches sometimes. It ain't got nothing to do with allergies. It itches. I think it's my mustache. And I've got hair up my nose there, and it itches sometimes. Don't know why. It ain't got nothing to do with being allergic. I am really allergic to that dog. I'm allergic to cats. I know when I'm allergic to stuff. Boy, if I could fix my neck that way, I'd look young, wouldn't I? But I ain't. Mary, you know who I'm talking to. Hello. Anyway, it just itches sometimes. It ain't got nothing to do with allergies. I'm allergic to the dog. The dog, I get really itchy on my neck. I get asthma. My eyes get red. That's the same way I get with cats. I'm allergic to cats too. But I'm allergic to the dog, and I may grow out of it. I don't know. I love the little dog. It likes playing. It's a sweet little dog, and you can tell it's smart. But right now, I'm just allergic to it. So if you want it and you want to give it a good home, it's got Jack Russell in it. This is what the people had told me. Said it had some Jack Russell in it, and it had some small hound, some kind of hound, a small hound, and Jack Russell. And that's what it looks like, actually. So it's a playful sucker. It wants to play all the time, and it's smart. It ain't housebroke yet, but it, how do I say this? Its stew ain't messy. So, you know, it ain't hard to pick up this mess, but it's real smart. And you can tell it ain't going to be hard to housebreak this dog. It's really smart. It's a smart dog. Smartest dog I've ever seen, actually. I can tell it's smart. So if you want this little critter, man, it's lovable. It's lovable. It likes, right now, it likes sleeping and playing. That's what it likes doing. And if you ain't playing with it, it'll stand there and look at you and go, it wants to play. And right now, it being young, it's probably 8 weeks old. It has got some sharp teeth. Sharp teeth. And they don't mean to. You can tell it just does this, but them teeth is so sharp. It don't matter if it's just barely doing that or not. Them sharp teeth will get you. But anyway, hallelujah. Y'all keep on playing music, Alabama, man. Keep on playing music, no matter what, and do it because you love it. Don't do it for the money. Do it because you love it. The money will come along. In time, it will come along. But play music because you love it. And if you don't do that, you're doing the wrong thing, my friend. I'm sorry. And that's the way I feel about it. Love, peace, and happiness, man. Keep on making music, Alabama.